Welcome back. I noticed the other day that people are referring to something called Chat GPT psychosis. They spiral into Chat GPT psychosis, right? And I mean, I don't buy that for a second. What I do believe, though, is that this algorithm you have in the social media and your browser and everything, right? And it's supposed to hook you up with more of what you prefer and like, right? But the problem with it is actually, your friends likes enter your feed as well, what your friends like, right? And what your favorite celebrity likes and what they recommend and everything, that shows up in your feed as well, right? So let's say I noticed that if you, for an example, click on a link with something about an animal, for an example, and I noticed that my feed instantly started bombarding me with miserable suffering of animals, right? And I've noticed people complaining about their feeds bringing up suffering children, charred children, and things like that. But that never shows up in my feed, right? Because I do not take part in all of the gossip and the misery feeds, you know? And if anything, this could be the reason why people are actually getting more wound up and spiraling. Because if you look at, for example, all of the feeds containing, for example, new findings about space, right? In those feeds, you hardly have anything negative, and they are mostly people who are, into space and they're curious and they want to share really cool things, right? That they like. So most of them are positive, right? So when you click that one, you never get anything negative, right? I mean, it's not a coincidence. I think that the algorithm has a really hard time deciding if this is really good for you. I mean, even though you might have stepped into the realm of it, it might be devastating to someone with a fragile psyche, right? I mean, imagine if you're already on the edge of something and someone, bombards you with misery, right? Doesn't that, you know, doesn't that, strike you as kind of obvious as a reason to spiraling, right? I mean, and to take it a little bit further, don't you think the agencies of the world, every security agency of the world, they're pretty clever when it comes to this, right? So don't you think they have noticed the absolutely enormous potential of controlling people through social media, right? And through the algorithm. I mean, through the algorithm, you can sift out the people who are, going for a certain kind of interest, right? And they can instantly spot people who have anti this ideas and anti that ideas, right? And if you can do that, you can single them out. You can direct the algorithm's choices towards that person and make it that person even more unstable, right? And doing so, you might actually create a weapon. It's psychological warfare, to be honest. And thinking that they haven't noticed this, that is pure ignorance. Pure ignorance. And, well, I believe that we need to be a little bit more careful who we actually allow feeds from, and who you allow in your friend list, and what they actually click on, right? I mean, that we need to start there, maybe, to actually polish the algorithm, but also realize that if you get absolutely bombarded by misery, maybe you need to have a look at the origin of that. Maybe you need to have a look at what did I actually click that, you know, comes close to this. Is this really a beneficial thing to follow? Because it will only make me feel, you know, upset, miserable, angry, and I believe that's exactly what's going on in the world right now, because they are whipping people into a frenzy, and everybody's going wild over all sorts of things. I mean, they're defending people who actually butcher innocent people. They're just out of a misguided alliance. I mean, it's so. I can tell you that since I started, you know, blocking things that I don't feel align with what I want to see during the day, right? And by doing so, I've got a better feed in my social media. And honestly, the best would be to, cut back on social media altogether, right? Because it is, I mean, well, here's another popular word right now, brain rot, right? I mean, brain rot. It calls it brain rot for sure. I mean, people stare at that screen with all the bombardment of information, and get in kind of a, trance-like state, I guess, where they have a hard time realizing, or actually, contemplating what is real and what's not real. And that is, a general description of psychosis, right? The inability to distinguish between what's real and not. I mean, if you think about it, right? Back in the day, they actually had to infiltrate a group in order to weaponize their anger and turn it into a opponent. To be honest, they make opponents so they can justify their actions, right? And well, this is a well-known phenomenon all over the world. So it's not just one agency. I mean, we're talking all of them. So I think this could be one of the most dangerous move towards group control of the population. I mean, it's got endless potential. So we really need to be careful when it comes to this. I mean, online, the algorithm, it's kind of easy to blame the algorithm as well, The algorithm presented this, and, people are, well, they're really, really, really fast at, or quick at, trying to find an easy way out of their reaction and behavior. So for sure they're gonna blame the algorithm. They're gonna blame everything. But this can also be intentional. That's what I'm saying. And if it is intentional, we've only seen the start of it. It's not that old. I mean, what we see now, the chaos we see now, the insurgencies created through hatred on the internet is just beginning. So take a long, hard, train of thoughts over that. I mean, yeah. Well, off the top of my mind, right? Later.